I know that we're sitting here in the Philips Healthcare booth. What is your relationship with Philips in terms of partnering and the kinds of things that you do with them in your facility?
We selected Philips as really our exclusive cardiac imaging and X-ray imaging solution. So those applications drive really are integrated into our entire process. So everything from the patient in the cath lab, so we use their expert product for both physiological and hemodynamic monitoring, and then of course their Philips hardware, not only their software but their hardware in our cath labs for several of our newer labs. Now we have 12 different cath labs. About half of those are Philips. We have half from another vendor, but hopefully we'll be changing those out over the next few years. So of course in the cardiac imaging, and then from an overall general modality viewing, we use Accelera as our patient informatics solution for creating our echo reports, our cath reports, and so forth, viewing and distributing those to all of our physicians.
So when you say this integrates well with your other systems, do you really feel like you've already got a foot in the future in a sense in terms of a lot of the stuff that we're seeing at HIMSS?
Well, and we have a concept with our EMR that's really taken from the very beginning that everything would flow into that EMR, and so we've worked very closely. We were one of the first, if not the first, integrated cath lab solution with Philips, and so we worked very closely with them to develop the interfaces. Now, to be honest, it doesn't always work perfectly. We're working
still real life,
and Philips is doing a heck of a job in trying to refine that for us. Our volume is so high, and I think that's challenged their system a little bit. We have one central system that can manage that, with most hospitals having just a fraction of that load, on one system. So I think that we've been able to work with them and really help stabilize that, and it continues to get better.
Well, that's excellent.
I'm also on their CIO advisory board, which has been a good experience to be really partnering, because we really believe that we've got to partner with some of our vendors to really provide the best solution from both our perspective and theirs.
And it's good to have a customer that's, in a sense, both demanding but also sophisticated. Well, and you can guide them in the right path as well.
That's right.
I mean, what's better than having
I don't know if they'd call me demanding. They probably would.
Well, not in front of you, of course.
Yeah.
But it's good to, because you got to push the edge.
We need the solutions to work. Right. It's a critical piece of our infrastructure. We need those to work, to be available every day. I mean, we need those cath reports and echo reports and so forth to be available in our EMR literally minutes after the procedure's finished or after the physician creates a report. So we've been able to achieve that, 99% of the time, and we're probably going to work on that last 1%.
That's excellent.
Okay.
The other area that's kind of interesting is analytics, and I know that that's still a pretty fresh area in the healthcare informatics field. Do you engage in some data analytics there?
Absolutely. Analytics are a big part of it. Well, we have a variety of things we're doing, both on the clinical side and now what we're really focusing more on with meaningful use and the changes.
Right.
Everything is really on the financial side, and so being able to analyze physician productivity, be able to analyze not only from a clinical perspective but also from a financial perspective. I think that to be successful in the future, you're going to have to be a lot better at business intelligence of the business, both, of course, on the clinical side to improve patient care.
It'll be a real differentiator.
But also on the financial side. It really is, and I think that a philosophy of our hospital has been very keyed on the physicians being productive and earning what they keep. And so I think that that's a continued area where we'll want to focus and do that in a way that is non-intrusive. Right. And that's really the key.
So the other big area today, which you can't walk 2 feet without hearing, is cloud computing, and of course it's everywhere. But from your perspective, what's the role of the cloud computing model in your kind of environment, which is clearly very special with privacy and security and issues involved?
Well, we conceptually, with Philips iSight product, we do a cloud-type solution.
Yeah.
We're paid on pay-per-click. Our radiology images are stored both on our side and off our side, which I think Philips has a unique offering there. So
very highly resilient.
Very highly resilient. But if I have disaster or my system's down, I can retrieve the images from the cloud. So, and we're looking to expand that beyond that to also our cardiac side. Now, again, our volume's so high.
Sure.
Constantly doing this, on is it cheaper to buy discs,
right.
or is it cheaper? And so, but that's something we're certainly going to look at more in the future. I think that overall, I've talked to multiple vendors on cloud computing and cloud storage, like Iron Mountain, for example,
sure.
and AT&T, and several of those offerings. So it's something we're looking at. It's not something we're going to jump out into. Of course, my security manager is very concerned, and he should be on exactly how those solutions are going to work. But we're going to explore them. If there's a financial gain and we can make the security work, we certainly want to look that way.
Sure. So, looking back now, you've made the move. You're in a very different environment. Is there any advice you give to someone who's CIO, for example, in the healthcare field, but has never really served in another industry that might save them a few sleepless nights?
Well, I think that probably the key thing is openness to information. I think to try to understand your costs and the cost of the products that and try to get that on the table so that your management really understands what IT costs and why it costs that. I think you can't go wrong. I think to be open in those areas, to ensure that you deliver the information people need to make decisions is probably the most vital thing. And of course, from a clinical perspective, you've got to ensure that that the clinicians have what they need. I think that's, if you look at our hospital in general and why we've been so successful, really the philosophy of the founders and the philosophy of our culture is to ensure that it's the best place to work, whether you're a physician or a nurse or a radiologist or an IT guy or an accounting guy. We want it to be the best place to work, and to do that, you give them the tools they need, and you give them to them as quickly as you can, and you make them as efficient as you can make them. So you don't see us a lot arguing about a nickel or a dime. Now, we obviously want to be good stewards of what we spend,
budgets,
but absolutely. So, but we want to spend those dollars that we do have the best possible way to deliver the best products for our end users.
Well, it sounds like a great set of values, and obviously it pays off in terms of results where you wouldn't be the number one in the country.
Well, we're very proud of that, and we think that we play hopefully some small part of that.
Thank you so much, Steve. I really appreciate your insights.
All right.
Pleasure speaking with you.
Thank you, Roger.
Thank you.